Hey guys, Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm at SHOT Show 2019, and I have the honor today of speaking with Steve Hornady himself. Steve, thank you for coming onto the channel.
I'm looking forward to it, Gavin.
So, when I think about Hornady, I think about a legacy. I think about a company that's been in the family and has been in the U.S. since, about 1949 or so?
Exactly 1949. It's the year my dad started the company.
And I recall seeing pictures of your dad with the trunk lid open, kind of as a traveling salesman early on, bringing Hornady product and whatnot around. What were those first years about?
Well, you got to remember, I was born in '49, so I don't remember any of that. And what I remember is the Rambler, the Nash Rambler, that my dad was the first station wagon that I can remember his car, and actually him coming back from a hunt in Wyoming with 2 deer strapped on the hood, and he did an ad, and they were does because that's what they were hunting. Mm-hmm. And he got a nasty letter from a guy, and he told me about it. He said, "So you shot a doe." But that's what you do, that's part of it. So my dad was an avid shooter before the war, and couldn't get what he wanted during the war, so they made a lot of stuff, and he and Vernon Spear were partners. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I actually have bullets, or boxes of bullets that say Spear Hornady on them. And my dad was out on the road calling on customers, and Vernon was running the machinery making the bullets. Mm-hmm. And the partnership floundered, and we went into it. Mm-hmm. I've always thought that Harvard Business School, they do these models of a business and how does it perform, and what would be the model for this one. So if my dad's model was guys coming back from the war are going to want to be able to reload and shoot their own bullets. Mm-hmm. Really? What on earth makes you think that would be the way it was? But whatever it was at the time, it worked. And truthfully, our whole shooting industry in the United States, the Sierras, the Spears, the RCBSs, the Bonanzas, the Noslers, the Hornadys, all of those, the Hodgdons, all got started after the war and created the whole reloading market during the 50s and early 60s.
Yeah, with Hodgdon, wasn't it like train cars full of surplus powder from the war, and then they were dumping it into the ocean, and Mr. Hodgdon thought, hey, maybe I could sell some of that.
Right, and he bought powder, and there was a story actually going around that he was complaining about the label that he was having to put on the can, because he said it cost more than the powder inside it.
If only that were the case nowadays.
Yeah, well, it'd be a little different, wouldn't it? Yeah. But those were the days.
So how does a company like Hornady, through all those decades, stay privately held, not get acquired by someone, and stay true to the roots? And if you had to express to someone in a phrase or in a simple sentence what the Hornady, values are, what are they?
I don't know if I can do it all in one simple sentence, but but to answer your question, part of the reason I think that we're still private is because we still enjoy what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And I think other people, the money creates stars in their eyes, but for us, when I talk about it with my family, my son is our vice president and shoving me out the door. We're having fun doing it, and what would you do if we sold the company? You'd have a whole bunch of money, but then what? Mm-hmm. What do you do? And I have people that retire, and I go, but what would I do? Mm-hmm. So for us, we're having fun doing what we do. I think the principles of our business have always been be fair, price your products fairly, and deliver to the customer, and listen to him, because my customer is us. We are those same people. And so I think one of the reasons that we've been as successful as we have been is because we're not a corporate company. We hunt and shoot. Yeah. And so if we look at it and go, ooh, that's cool, that'll be fun to hunt or shoot with, we're right, because that's what we do too.
It takes one to know one, right?
Well, that's exactly right. It does, and for other people, they can do I've had people say to me, now how do you do your market research? No. Hell, I don't know. We just look at it and go, ooh, that looks cool. Probably can't say that on here, but sorry.
That's all right.
There's a bleep. We go, bleep, that's cool.
No, I was actually going to ask you that. I was going to ask you, with all of the requests that you get and all of the new product opportunities, how do you filter it down to products that you're going to bring to market? And I think you just answered it. You guys are enthusiasts. You do, it takes one to know one. You're out there shooting, you're out there hunting. I've seen a lot of great hunting pictures from a lot of your folks out in all over the world, you know. I got to talk to Neil Emery when I put together a resource for Strong On this year around 6.5 Creedmoor, and learn about the development of that cartridge and see what a versatile cartridge it is. I actually took a black bear this year with a 143 grain ELDX bullet, which is like the magic bullet for hunting. The more people I talk to, the more you know that they're using that bullet. Anyways, back to the whole process of bringing out new products. You guys are shooters, and you know, as a reloader, you know there's always that extra edge you're going to be able to get. And wildcatters have known for years there's always an adaptation to just maybe fine-tune something for a new market. Which brings me to the next thing. I'm kind of really curious about a couple things.
What grade, what sixes? Could you help him? We're trying to film a show here.
I will edit that out from the... So that brings me to some of the new products, and there's a couple things I'm really interested in this year. One is 6.5 PRC. Oh. I've done a ton of stuff with the 6.5 Creedmoor. I've been playing around with 224 Valkyrie quite a bit, and in fact, I've gotten some really good results with the 88 grain ELDM bullets. You know, Valkyrie is interesting because it's one of these cartridges where you're just pushing things to the limits, and that leads. So I think for me, 6.5 PRC would be a great hunting cartridge, a long-range hunter, because according to my calculations, if it's lethal, the ELDX needs 1,650 feet per second to be lethal and to be reliable. Creedmoor will take that out to 800 yards, the 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 PRC takes you out to 1,000. And at 800, you're probably a little bit more confident. So we'll see about the PRC, but I'm also interested in the other PRC, which is the 300 PRC. And this is kind of like applying the big bore 30 cal Magnum model, the Creedmoor model, to that cartridge. So have you played around with 300 PRC at all?
Well, yes.
And you guys have been working with basically that cartridge for a while, is that correct?
Quite a long time. The 300 PRC, the father of that is the 375 Ruger. And the 375 Ruger is basically a Magnum bolt head with no belt, so that we've got a cartridge of full diameter. And we developed that working with Ruger because they wanted 375 H&H performance in a standard length action that they could sell, because their Magnum length action was very expensive and their standard length was their most popular. And we developed that cartridge. But once we did it, we're looking at it and going, man, this thing has got a lot of potential, and it does. We necked it up to 416, which was is brutal when you pull the trigger on that. But we shortened it and made the 300 RCM, the Ruger Compact Magnums, out of that, and the 338, and then it is the parent cartridge for the 6.5 PRC, and it's the parent cartridge for the 300. And we, you know, look, the world is filled with Magnum 30 calibers. There's short action ultra mags and Winchester short mags and Noslers and Weatherbees and all of these, and they all are burning staggering amounts of powder in order to try to get this level of performance. But that's not necessarily the best way to develop a cartridge. Sometimes backing off a little bit, not trying to get maximum velocity, is where you're going to get the most performance out of this bullet at longer ranges. You got to spin them faster. Burning a lot of powder down the barrel does not necessarily make a more accurate cartridge. And so our whole goal with this development, take advantage of that platform, that cartridge case, because I again think it is probably one of the very best cartridges that's ever been designed. Even though we did it, there's good reasons why. But what you're able to do with that then is deliver to that customer not just the performance velocity, but the accuracy that is built into the thing. And so we had a couple of our guys, several people that work for us on the plant floor, are 1,000-yard bench rest shooters, and we've been shooting the 375 Ruger for 7 years or so.
Wow.
And they wouldn't even show people when they went to matches what they were showing, because we didn't want people to get, doing stuff. But as you mentioned earlier, wildcatters have been messing around with this stuff for a long time, and I'm confident that there are other people that have necked the 375 down to 30 cal. I'm sure they've probably taken it all the way down to 22, which I wouldn't, but yeah, that platform has just got phenomenal performance. And part of the reason it does, for the gun maker, he doesn't have to make anything new.
Right.
It fits his Magnum bolt face that he's always had. It fits his Magnum followers in his receiver that he's always had. It fits within the action length that he's already got. So for gun makers to adapt to a new cartridge like this is like run a reamer down the barrel. Matter of fact, if you have a 300 Win Mag, pull the barrel off, cut off one thread, run a reamer in there, and you can have a 300 PRC in, tomorrow.
So I'm hoping to do that. I started building rifles in my shop this year. I built 3 rifles. They've all done really well. And part of the promise of the 300 PRC is you're going to get really good performance regardless of whether it's a budget platform or a high-end custom platform. And I think it was Neil Emery and I think Jaden Quinlan were talking about the free bore tolerance, right? It's only 5/1000ths over the bullet diameter. And so that bullet is guided really straight into the throat and into the rifling. And that means, even if you don't have perfect everything else, there's less of a chance for that bullet to go cockeyed, and it's just going to line up better and that kind of thing. So I'm hoping, what I'd really like to do is compare a real budget build to a higher end build. And then I haven't done the ELR stuff yet. So I'd like to partner with one of my local ELR guys and go out to a mile.
Yeah. Oh, and that would be fun. The points that you made are kind of the ones that I was trying to make, but I think you did a better job. A lot of the things that we have done is tweaking the cartridge, refining those little things that take it off of okay performance but make it better performance. And we do that because our guys are shooters and they're trying to get that maximum amount of accuracy that I can deliver out of a factory cartridge. And I think we demonstrated that we're doing it with 6.5 Creedmoor, we're doing it with a whole bunch of these, and now you start pulling the trigger and the bullet's going through the same hole, it's going through the same hole, it's going through the same hole. Warren Page wrote a book 50 years ago, Only Accurate Rifles Are Interesting. And it's true.
I will admit I tend towards that, and I'm actually trying to branch out a little bit this year. I'm trying to embrace more close quarters stuff with the AR-15 and with the AK-47. I've just teamed up with a guy around defense because I'm the obsessive guy. If I'm shooting handguns, I'm going to want a single action revolver, and it's like I've got to diversify a little bit.
Go for it. That's one of the beautiful things about shooting is, what do you want to shoot? You want to shoot revolvers? Great. Now I got 2 styles. I can do double action or you can do single action.
Yeah.
Amongst those, there's a whole bunch. Rifles, what do you want? What type of rifle shooting do you want to do? Super precision bench rest, super long range target shooting, and everything in between. Even with the ARs, and there's a ton of different competition, and all the different handgun games that you can do, whether it's paper or steel or action or whatever. That's what makes a shooting sport so much fun.
It's a lifelong journey for sure. And on that note, I think we'll end with, what are you fascinated with and what have you been shooting lately?
You mean, what do I hunt with, or what do I...
Yeah, what do you hunt with?
Actually, I'm the last 2 hunts that I've been on, I took a Ruger American in 300 RCM. And I've been shooting the RCM since we designed it and developed it, because it fits in a short action, and it was designed to give me basically 300 Win Mag performance in a 20-inch barrel. So when you're getting on and off a horse or you're climbing up a stupid mountain, the less crap you're hauling with you, the better off you are. And with that short barrel, you can make it stiffer. Stiffer barrels are more accurate. And you'll see, when other people are lightening their guns, trying to take the weight out, they start turning that barrel down, and you get these thin little whippy things out there that are, red hot by the time you got 5 rounds through them. My barrel, is a big fat thing, but it's only that long too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm thinking to take a little bit of a different take on the whole lightweight hunter thing. I'm thinking the 6.5 PRC, and I might do like a proof research carbon wrap barrel or something, because where we hike, it's really, really steep, and I've learned from the guys around me that having that pack horse, when you drag a black bear down off the hill, you learn real quick that would be a good way to go.
Oh yeah, horses are very handy.
Well, thank you, Steve, for taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the partnership that we have. And I've got a whole bunch of Hornady gear in the shop that I'm going to be featuring in videos. A lot of the new products, everything from the sifters all the way up to new bullets, and hopefully new cartridges and stuff this year. It's going to be really, really fun.
Well, great. Gavin, thank you. We appreciate the partnership.
Awesome. Okay, and we got a lot more SHOT Show 2019 content coming up. Please join me in thanking Steve for taking the time out of his busy schedule to do this interview with me. Make sure you're subscribed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, happy shooting and happy reloading.